I grew up like a savage.
One, two, one, two. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast. You got me, myself, Lord Rab. You got Corner Barber at the shop holding it down, getting some things in order during this COVID-19. You got OG Clee on a vacation. And today we got a very, very, very special guest, man. Hailing from Far Rockaway, Queens, man. You might have seen this man on tour somewhere in a city near you in the late 80s and early 90s, right?
Absolutely.
With his brother, the legendary Father MC. He's had his stints with Second to None and AMG. He had his stints with Digital Underground.
That's family right there, man.
You know, so he made his rounds through our area, through the Bay Area too. He also been an actor and a mover and a shaker in this business a long time. Got a lot of relationships, know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? We got Markuann Smith on the show today, man.
Yo, thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me on your No Vultures platform. I'm honored to be here, brother.
Man, we you know, like, you know, we've been rapping off camera about different things and projects, and it's like when I seen the amazing things you was doing, you know what I'm saying, I got real motivated, you know, to do a lot of things myself, because a lot of people think, you know, shit happened overnight, and it just don't, man. You gotta grind, you know. So what they say, 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a million no's before one yes, brother.
Man,
And
I watched you tell Sway you ran some ideas across to him that didn't translate right then too, but you know, you got to keep kicking in that door.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me give you the No Vultures disclaimer. So we started this podcast like maybe probably 18 months ago. Did 42 interviews for the first season, had some legendary interviews with some legendary guys on there, and we started the platform because it just was seeming like our media, black media, was scared to give it up to people who's done legendary things unless there was some controversy attached to it, right? So they'll attach, you know, negativity with us, like, you know, nobody want to give Markuann Smith his shine until, or Silk in some people cases, right? Some people might not want to give you give you your shine until something negative happens, right?
Yeah.
Typically with us, a death or some type of illness or something like that. But
Yeah.
we pretty much want to like put it out there that we got greatness all the time, 24 hours a day. You know, it's black excellence. So we pretty much for the culture, by the culture.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm a firm believer that you have to give people their roses while they're here. You feel what I'm saying? Don't wait till you have RIP t-shirts to say how much you love a person when you could have told them 24 hours before the initial situation happened, man.
Absolutely.
You only live once. Life is too short, man.
Absolutely. And so growing up, were you born and raised in Far Rockaway?
Now I was raised in Harlem, and I grew up in Far Rockaway, raised in Harlem. So I left Harlem at an early age, you know, in the middle of the when you see this right here, the crack era, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I left in the middle of that, and I ended up moving from one place to a worse place. You know, Far Rockaway, if anybody's from New York City that watches your platform, it's not the it's the mud, man. I'm telling you, man. It's like Marin County back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The jungle. Shout out to the jungles, man. So you left during the was it like the Rich and Poe era?
Yeah, absolutely. My grandmom's actually, she wanted me to leave because after Darnell got kidnapped and a whole bunch of stuff was just happening in Harlem at the time, she was kind of scared for me, you know. So I left, and I thought I was leaving from one place to go to another place that was just as worse.
Man, that's crazy, because what I know about Far Rock is like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you know, everybody hear about, you know, 41st Side and, you know, the places where the rappers from, or, you know, of course, Nori being on, and you hear about LaFrac City, and you hear about that. But Far Rockaway is a real rough place. Like we talking about Edgemore houses, right?
Edgeman, yeah.
Edgemore house, Hamill houses.
Hamels, Edgeman, Redfern, 40s, and the list
Dix
goes on,
McBride.
man. Yeah, McBride, all of that. You know
Shout out to rest in peace, and shout out to Stack Bundles too. He from that area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Far Rockaway is like West Oakland. You feel what I'm saying? It's one way in, one way out. We're right by the water. We're right by the peninsula. And around this is nothing but housing projects. You know what I'm saying? So Far Rockaway used to be called the Hamptons of Queens. Irish people used to come out there at one time to just go out there on vacation. Then they started building up all these housing projects in this little peninsula. So you had projects all the way down the beach. So imagine, you know, everyone trying to coexist in one little peninsula.
Right. That's it get crazy when it get tight like that.
Yeah.
So like would like the era of those rappers I just named, like those Nas's and those 50s and those guys, are would you be considered their peer or a little bit older?
No, we're the same generation.
You're in the same.
Yeah,
okay.
my older brother, see, after my brother came out, he came out in late 80s, 89, 90, 91. That's when rap in the East Coast, people were using R&B hooks and rap changed. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next generation came the Onyxes and the Mobb Deeps and of that sort. So that's my generation right there.
And like, well, you know, I'm gonna go back a little bit, but I gotta ask this question while we right there about like Queens, because like I think it's real dynamic the way 50 rapped on Ghetto Quran, right? And about the whole Queens situation. So I kind of like want you to kind of like, you know, not touch into too much of what's too sensitive, but kind of tell us like why was it that sensitive at that time when he like spoke on those things, and kind of like what was the environment like around that time?
Well, you talking about the 90s, man. That was crack. That was the crack era. 50 was rhyming about what he grew up and what he saw. He was from the back blocks of Southside Queens. And, you know, Far Rockaway, we didn't even consider ourselves Queens, but we were part of Queens. And that was around the time when they called it Cop Killer Queens, because Edward Burns, he was a police officer that got killed around the crack epidemic. You know, the same time that Fat Cat, Pappy Mason, and Supreme and Prince and all these guys, they were all hustling on the south side of Queens. So Ghetto Quran is basically, I never looked at it as 50 dry snitching or anything like that. I looked at him as an artist that was painting the picture. Right. And he was telling the story of what he grew up and what he saw. He wasn't indicting people. This was common knowledge of what was going on. You know, growing up in the hood, we looked up to cats like that as heroes. You know, we're on the corner and we seeing somebody like Supreme come through in a bulletproof BMW, you know what I'm saying, with bulletproof Yankee jacket, a bulletproof Yankee hat. You know, these are the only things that we could see that we could relate to. You know what I mean? So that era was an era of turmoil. It was an era of, you know, people trying to survive, people trying to make it. I mean, crack was an unknown drug, brother. Nobody knew what crack was. Police were locking people up, letting people go with cracks in their pocket because they didn't realize what crack was. You feel what I'm saying? And after that police officer got killed, that's when they formed what was called TNT. It's called Tactical Narcotic Team, but we called it TNT because they only came out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we called it TNT. But
same thing here. Yeah.
So, you know, the 90s, the late 80s, 90s, but it wasn't just, you got to also remember, it wasn't just in New York, man. It was in Detroit. I was out there. I met cats from the Best Friends, the Young Boys Incorporated. You know what I'm saying? I was out in DC, you know, and I happened to be around the Rafer Edmonds of the world, and in Miami with the convertible Berts, and you know what I'm saying, and Detroit with the Maserati Ricks. I was exposed to that environment because my older brother had me on tour. And a lot of these dudes that were hustlers, they wanted to be rappers. And the rappers wanted to be hustlers. So I was exposed to all of that.
So now you went to Far Rockaway High.
Yep.
We talking Bernie Madoff.
Bernie Madoff went there.
MC
Yep,
Third.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So y'all got a Cole alumni, few OG basketball. Somebody went to the NBA, played for the Knicks. So going to this school, there's even a couple of people like and I don't know, in different hoods, we don't really get inspired by the white folks early on because we didn't think that we could accomplish some of those things. But like you have people at your school that won Nobel Peace Prizes, so it's like we're over here, but things can be accomplished from our neighborhood. Now, about what grade were you in, or how old were you when your brother broke into the music industry, and how long was that process?
Well, I had just came out of Spofford, and when I came out of Spofford, I went to Lincoln Hall, and this is I was in the system. It's called DFY. DFY stands for Division of Youth.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came out of Lincoln Hall, which is a DFY school, my brother was always rapping. He was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken at the time. They used to call him the Chicken Man because he used to come outside with mad flour all over him, but he was always fly. And he was always hustling. He was always hustling on the low as well. And he was hustling not to just stay fly, but hustling to get his demos done. So when I got back in the streets, and my brother said, he didn't want me to go through what I'm going through anymore. He said, yo, we're gonna do this together. And we started going to the new music seminar, man, hopping the trains with 40s and Chinese food, white rice with the red sauce, and just us grinding it out, And nobody believed in him, brother, until they saw that video on Ralph McDaniel Video Music Box, treat them like they want to be treated, and our whole life just changed.
And what's so historical and legendary about that? Like when we heard Father MC, I can remember being young and hearing that and not hearing anything like it before, right? And he was a dope rapper, and we had heard rappers, rap for women before, but we hadn't heard that type of soulful hook, which we would learn and find out that was Jodeci, in case either way. Yeah. So that's just so historical in itself, just if he had stopped his career there and nothing else had happened, and then they went on to do what they went to do, that would be like, I put them on, you know what I'm saying? Because
but you know what, Rap? When I was on tour, like we had that soulful sound, but when I went out west and I heard DJ Quick, Sweet Black Pussy for the first time, I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? When I heard Rappin' Forte and Drew Down and Richie Rich, you know what I'm saying? It was the same vibe I was getting. You feel what I'm saying? I was getting that real pimp vibe out there. Like we had all the dope big R&B hooks. Like, it was my brother. Then you had Redhead Kingpin. You had a bunch of cats that was the formula at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But me personally, I think my brother did it the best.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It was nobody like. I mean, the music that stand the test of time speak for itself. So when you throw it on at a wedding, you throw it on at a party, you throw it on at a family event, cross all genres, all time, all that shit, just legendary. You know what I'm saying? And so you getting to see the world. So is that how you got to the West and saw those?
Yeah, absolutely. My first tour was with Candyman, Troop, High Five, Second to None, AMG, DJ Quick. I remember Quick, Second to None, and AMG. They had a Winnebago. They didn't even have a tour bus.
Wow.
And they was following us. You know what I mean? Like our first tour was kids coming from New York that went across the country promoting Father's Day, his first album. So that's how come I got out west. I met Pac because I was a roadie for my brother, and Pac was a roadie for Digital. Tretch was a roadie for Latifah. So we had a camaraderie like that. You know what I'm saying? Because every night after our show was over, I had to take those big ass coffins that held them 1,200 turntables and take them off the stage. Yeah. I had to protect that DAT tape and that DAT machine like my life, because if I lost that, there was no show. But
Yeah.
me and Pac always used to be mad. We'd be like, yo, while everybody else is out there with the bitches chilling and everything, we got to make sure that everything is done. You know what I mean? So me and Pac became real close and real cool. And we used to talk about each other's dreams. You know what I'm saying? We used to do stupid shit. I remember being on the road and staying at hotels. And I'm like, oh, okay, these motherfuckers going to have me two in a room, or they going to have me on like on an odd floor. We used to go down and knock on people's doors with like a garbage can full of water and knock on the door and say room service. And somebody open the door and just hit them with the water and just run. You know what I'm saying? We used to have fun, man. We were just kids coming of age trying to grab our dreams, man, hopes, ambitions, you know, not trying to go back to where we were from.
We talking Uptown Records.
Yeah.
We talking Andre Harrell. We talking Diddy as a curator, A&R, producer, whatever. He was just Slash, right?
Diddy was my brother's A&R. He didn't produce none of my brother's records. Who produced it? I have to give props for Soul Convention. That was Corey Rooney and Prince Marky D. And and
That's
Fresh
dope.
Gordon did some, and who was the other one? Fresh Gordon. It was a whole bunch of cats. Eddie F. They all chipped in and did it. I think my brother gave a lot of these guys their start for their career, like Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Intro, and a lot of people have tried to written them out of history, because anytime you see Mary J. Blige interviews, you don't hear her saying, "Thank you, Father, for allowing me to be on your record. I'll do for you." You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people forget. People forget, you know what I mean? And that was my brother's second single that gave her the exposure. But I don't say nothing. I just watch and I observe, and I'll be like, all right, that's cool. But my brother's doing well.
I'm going to keep striving and kicking down the doors for the culture, and I could scream it to the mountains for people like your brother, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what No Vultures is about. It's about not, something, God forbid, happening to Father MC, and then that was my favorite rapper, say it now while he can hear it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
people tend to forget shit, you know what I'm saying? Which is all cool. That's why anytime I do things, my brother doesn't really care, but I'm the one that's like more militant and more like, nah, you're not gonna write him out of history, because this is what he did. He kept the lights on at Uptown. A gold album will keep the lights on at Uptown. A gold record was like platinum back in the day. 500,000 units. Fuck that streams right now, a billion streams or whatever. Selling 500,000 units, you keeping the lights on.
Absolutely, and the money it generates, the jobs it creates, and the foundation it lays for the artist that's coming after that. You got to understand, Mary's on a hit. Jodeci is on a hit when they come out.
Yeah.
Now, if that first shit had went wood, it might not be no.
I remember going to Flatbush and going to Howard T's house, his wife Lady Kazan, on the first album with my brother, getting Fresh Gordon to do records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Freeze, and all these guys. I mean, these guys need to give them their fucking roses, man. It really gets me mad when you have all these award shows and everybody's, dancing around, but you forgot where you came from. You know what I'm saying? The person that gave you the opportunity.
Yes, sir. I definitely, that definitely is some of my favorite music of my time. At the time, the box was out here, so I used to run home from school to try to catch all of that shit, like to stay hip in on the culture. We got OG Clee joining the meeting. Markuann, this is my big bruh. He in the feds in Sheraton.
Okay. What up, Clay?
Hey, what up with it?
What's going on, brother, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I can't complain. I'm blessed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Stay safe in there, man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
I was gonna ask you, Markuann, so when at Uptown Records, when your brother is blowing up, we talking about his brother Clee, Father MC. When he's having his success and you at Uptown and you seeing the vibe and you seeing Puff become who he is, was Puff always that ball of energy, and did he try to transfer any of that to you? Did you pick up on any of that stuff?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And one thing I'm not going to take from Puff, Puff has always been that ball of energy. Puff always puts the battery in your back. He put the battery in my back because I started off as a roadie, then I became a hype man. So he always told me, you know, every time you wake up, you on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever forget this could be your last time. You go out there and you give your best at whatever you do. Puff has always been like that.
Yeah, and so what? So he was giving you like direct on tips on being a hype man.
Absolutely. I remember one time he came on the bus. He was like, "Yo, Silk, this is what I want you to do." You know, basically emphasizing how I should hype up the crowd. We going in the venue, running up and down the aisles like we were doing suicide drills. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It was real serious about that. Puff is really serious about his showmanship.
I was looking at a couple of your old pictures and a couple of your current pictures, and I was looking at you rocking the boots, and I thought about it. And is it any correlation with Puff coming with the new flavor with the Doc Martens and all that? Because you still got to rock your shit not all the way laced. You know, you still got to have that flavor.
See, I like the Doc Martens, but I ain't gonna front. My brother overdid it. He had the ones that came up past his thighs like he was a superhero. I didn't like them shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was like powder blue. I was like, the fuck you wearing them shit for, man? See, I kept the 40 belows on. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, man.